Cuphead, the game that everyone knows.
Not really.
Well, at least your big brother, little brother, or sister, and maybe you have heard of it. This game has now regained major popularity for its downloadable content called
The Delicious Last Course.
The Delicious Last Course.
You forgot to talk about what is Cuphead, Harold.
Oh, sorry, lady. Cuphead is a run-and-gun video game developed and published by Studio DHR. It was released on Microsoft Windows and Xbox One on September 29th. Wait, what year is this, 2017? We are in 1973. Never mind. It seemed like Chad and Moldenhauer, the founders, who were brothers, didn't know what to do. Chad and Jared Moldenhauer weren't dorks for making games. In fact, did not know how to make games. May I ask?
How in the world did they manage to make a game with 6 million sales in 2 years become a reality?
The development began in 2010. It was developed in the brothers' homes in Oakville, Ontario, and in Regina, Saskatchewan, using the Unity game engine to operate their game. Well, you will clearly understand that Cuphead got inspired by cartoons in the 1930s, mostly with Disney and Fleischer Studios. The brothers watched many cartoons while they were young. The two tried to make Cuphead in the style of the year 2000, but, as you know, Jeepers Creepers, it did not work. But later they got inspired by a 1936 propaganda animated film featuring a character with a teacup as its head.
Don't be such a spaz. Is it real?
Yes, you can find it on YouTube. What is YouTube? Anyways, the Moldenhauers thought the animation strange and right away struck. What do you mean, Wikipedia? Before picking the main protagonist for their game, the brothers created a whopping 150 varied character designs, like a version of him having a plate for a head.
That's confusing.
The animation techniques they used were based on old cartoons. Chad Moldenhauer, who had experience in graphic design, hand draw the animations and painted with watercolors, colorizing them in Photoshop. While the gameplay is on 60 frames per second, the animations are in 24 frames per second because
That's the exact frame rate of an old American film.
on average, it took 25 minutes per frame of the game. Plus, with the game having 50,000 frames,
More than 3 times of what they anticipated.
the process was painstaking. Everything in the game was made by hand. Maria Moldenhauer was the producer and was the one that was inking and cleaning up almost every single asset you can see in Cuphead. And at the same time, took hours upon hours of cartoons to reference the game perfectly. Jared Moldenhauer was the designer. He was doing the other aspects of the game. Later, the studio hired a Romanian developer, a Brooklyn animator, and a jazz musician for Cuphead. The music was composed by Christopher Madigan and has a total of 51 tracks by jazz and jazz orchestra.
At the time.
The Moldenhauers described Cuphead as a hard-to-beat game that focuses more to the gameplay than the plot. And the brothers were about to do the damsel in distress, a narrative plot where men need to save a woman, like the Mario plot, but they decided to scrap it.
What a bummer.
Well, the developers plan to have the Guinness World Record for the number of boss battle in a run-and-gun game by having 30 of them compared to 25 in Alien Soldier. The downloadable content was announced in 2018 and supposed to release in 2019, but was delayed many times because of stress on the small development team.
Well, for a game doing that well, I understand.
Later, the pandemic in 2019, pandemic in 46 years. Okay, a pandemic happened. That stalled the process by a lot because the high number of interactions they did back in the day. Imagine doing the same strategy they did back then without the pandemic and the pandemic.
That's a bummer. For real this time.
But the DLC got great success.
So, sound is a pound for them.
Indeed. And they produced a fully fledged show.
Wow, that's fab.
Yep, you're saying the truth, Vanessa. Peace, love, and granola.
Peace out.
Man came along to Help me.